Are we live? I think we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. Today we're doing yet another episode of, whatever the hell this is. That's right. With that being said, I hope you're all doing well. But yeah. Anyways. I'm insomnia maxing, so hopefully this won't be too long of a stream. Hopefully I'll be, tired enough to go eat sleepy within an hour or something. We'll see how it goes. Also, my hair is a mess. Wow. Oh, wow, 400 reveal at the beginning of stream. There you go. For anyone that wanted to know. Oh, crazy. With that being said, hello, Limer. Congratulations on being the first person in chat. Hello, Poetic Shooter. Hello, Sergio Oliveros. Hello, I don't want to talk about it. Hello, George Baker. Hello, Foxy. Hello, King Prize. Hello. Hello, Cheese. You sound sad? I'm not sad. I'm just like a little bit eepy. You know, being an insomniac doesn't mean that you're not eepy. It's you're eepy, but you can't eep. So, instead of eeping, we're gonna be, nice lashes, girl. Thank you. I'll have to remember to take them off before I go to bed. Which, why the hell not? My sleep schedule is awful too. I've been going to bed at 5 a.m. and waking up at noon. Oh, it's better than my schedule. It's already 5 a.m. for me, and we're just, finishing up my day. And then I'm gonna fall asleep at 7 o'clock in the morning and wake up at maybe like 3 p.m. or something. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, anyways, with that being said, chat, do you want to make fun of a right-winger for a little bit? Or do you want to just chill for a little? What do you guys think? I did another all-nighter, Femi. Are you proud of me? I sure am. I sure am. Alright. I found a channel full of, nothing but sheer schizobabble, okay? And, you know what? It's something I wanted to show to you guys, alright? I may as well show it while I'm a little bit eepy, alright? Watch live. The deal of the century. President Trump signs the big beautiful bill into law. She's very excited about it. Well, let's see how much she knows about the bill.
It's live. It's actually something that you'll be able to look back years from now, and we'll be able to evaluate, the results of the big beautiful bill. See, time.
You see, you can't criticize the big beautiful bill until after it has the results, whether they're good or bad. You couldn't possibly anticipate the potential outcomes of a bill. It's like pulling a set of outcomes out of a hat, or flipping a coin.
I will tell
as all policies should be.
That it has on this country, whether it's positive or negative or in between. But one thing I do like about Trump is at least he is making a difference.
Dude, at least he's making a difference. It could be negative, it could be positive. It doesn't matter. It could be, destroying the world, but at least he's making a difference, okay? Because a negative difference is better than nothing at all. You can't hear it? What? Wait, really? Wait.
Doing something.
But it says it's super quiet. Oh. Okay.
And most of us don't agree with everything that anyone does. None of us.
Is it fine now?
Do. You don't agree with your husband, everything, your children, everything, your bosses, everything. So that's to be expected. But what you do have to do is when someone is doing something that is beneficial, like...
That's better. Is it the same volume as me? I think I might be louder than it. I have no idea. Turn it up for the gays. I don't know if using this would make a difference. Huh. Interesting. I might have messed up some settings. I don't know.
The things he's done for the world. He's a world president. He's not just the
Is this better? Is this the same? Is it good?
president of the United States. Everybody is following President Trump's lead.
No. It's actually quite the opposite. Trump doesn't know what the fuck is happening. He has dementia.
In the world. The world. And if they can give him some respect, so can we. We need to give respect where respect.
Oh, yeah, dude. Trump just garners so much respect. You know? That's why, Putin specifically wanted Trump to be in office. Because it'd be, easier for Putin to deal with. It's because of how respectable he is.
Respect is due. Like the Democratic Party became
Israel and Iran literally disobeyed his direct order. No, you don't understand, okay? That's obviously fake news because no wars would ever happen under Trump.
the party. They want
Okay, those wars are fake. They're created by the CIA.
you to accept sin. You have so many people that say that they're Christians and they don't even realize that the party has become a party of sin. That everything
This is not a real person.
that goes against the word of God and the principles of God and what the Bible speaks against, the party is pushing it forward.
So, I don't know, hatred? I mean, that's something that the Republican Party pushes all the time. What about redistributing wealth from the poor to the rich? Is that what Jesus stood for? I mean, apparently.
Like when Obama came into office, they had him. He wasn't running the country. I don't think any Democratic leaders have actually been in charge of the country. I believe it's
I agree that they're complacent. But I'll take lukewarm politics and complacency over fascism any day.
people over them, especially the last president. He was not calling the shots, and we all know that that's the truth. He wasn't calling the shots.
My friend, Trump talks like a dementia patient, okay? He talks like somebody that belongs in an elderly home, like a nursing home where old people go because they can't think clearly anymore and they forget things very quickly. That's all I'm going to say.
That's a fact. And I believe that the truth will manifest one day. What was going
Dude, the truth may not be out there now, but one day it will magically manifest itself way in the future, allowing me to not have to substantiate my claim currently. All right, don't you worry. All right, in 53 years from now, the truth will manifest itself.
Because I can go to videos that I can show that Biden was totally against open borders. Obama was totally against open borders.
I mean, yeah, they were, Obama did crack down on immigrants. That is true.
He's the one that wanted to have alligator Alcatraz. That was Obama was talking about that years ago. He was the porter in chief. That was Obama. So the things that they say that they're against.
Yeah, I've never been in favor of that.
There's videos. Everything is funny about social media. You could go back and you can.
But who is they? Most people that are engaged in online politics, especially at least if we're talking about the online left, is if we're not making fun of right wingers, we're criticizing the Democratic Party. Because unlike you guys, we do some fucking self-policing. And by that I don't mean like virtue signaling, who can be the most woke type of shit, but more like, I don't know, looking at what is or isn't an effective strategy, looking at what policies would actually be the most effective, having real discussions about that.
Replay everything what people have said and what they stood for. So any Democrat that's on here, they can go back and y'all can do the research. Y'all can go on YouTube. Y'all can
Do the research. The thing that Trump supporters love doing notoriously. Of course.
Google it. Y'all could. The information is there.
All right. Sure. I'm sure that you're very familiar with
So
it.
people don't want to hear it. They want to say, oh, he's lying or we're lying. But
Oh, I'm sure you've heard the information then. You've made yourself aware of all of it. Okay, you've done in-depth research, I'm sure.
every president that had in the past that he succeeded, they all were for closed borders. Even Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, when she was even running for president, all of them were for closed borders.
They didn't do anything as bad as, I don't know, deporting innocent people without due process. I don't think they did that. That's a bit of a new one. But
all of them have deported.
Yeah, with due process. Now, do I think that, like, mass deportations are morally justifiable? No. But I'll take ones with due process over ones without. You know, at least the ones with due process don't blatantly violate the Constitution. I'm just saying.
They might have did it a little bit more gracefully than Trump, because Trump is...
You mean by going through the thing called due process? That's not about grace. That's like abiding by the Constitution.
Unhinged. He just says how he feels, and that's it. He doesn't...
Yeah, Trump is unhinged. You are factually correct about that. That might be the first factually correct thing you've said this stream.
Doesn't fake it, and he don't fake it for us. He don't fake
You're right. He is genuinely unhinged. I agree. He doesn't fake it.
it for the cameras.
It's the most real thing about him.
He is who he is. He tells you exactly
Yes, he's just as deranged as he looks on camera.
what he's going to do, and guess what he does? He actually keeps his word.
Yeah. Really? What about when he said that if he was the president, that there would be no wars in any other countries? What was one of the first things that happened when he was in office? Just take a quick guess. I think you all know what I'm alluding to.
How he keeps his word, and how
he keeps his word. Then why is there a war between Israel and Iran? I thought he said that there was going to be no wars under him. Well, that's interesting.
refreshing is that? How many people do you know that don't even keep their word? You know, you can't even depend on someone say.
You mean like Trump when he said that under his presidency there wouldn't be any new wars? Or when he said that the Ukraine-Russian war would end in a day? No, he gave us his word and he never followed through. It's kind of interesting.
You had kids, I'm gonna be over there to take care of your kids so you can go to work, and they don't show up. You know, these days you can't even take someone's word for it, but Trump has been standing on business.
Standing on business? Like what? Saying that he's gonna buy Canada? Okay.
He stands on business. So
right.
We're going to see the result of this bill. We're going to find out actually, I think the biggest concern is Medicaid. What's happening to people? I don't think that they're putting people off. The only people I think they actually are putting off are
she clearly knows what she's talking about.
Non-citizens. If you're American and you're getting Medicaid or whatever, they are requiring people, whether you volunteer or you go to school or you work, 20 hours a week. They want 20 hours a week of you doing something, and you're going to have your health care. So I think it's a lot of and you know what? If
she's just yapping,
you are on, if you are able, I think it's great to get out and you get to socialize with people. So it's better for people to go and volunteer or whatever they need to do, because you get to interact with people.
Are we supposed to stand behind the party that was the founders of the KKK, where Joe?
The founders of the KKK were far right and conservative. Like, just because the name of the party was different back then doesn't mean it wasn't the conservative party. Right? Back then, the one called the Democrats was the conservative party. That was the right-wing party. Okay? The Republican Party at the time was more left. So, I don't really care what the origin of the Democratic Party is. I care what it does now, currently, in comparison to the other viable option, which is the Republican Party. Those are the only two parties in which a candidate can become, the president of the United States. I'm going to choose the more left-leaning one. It was left-leaning people. Well, not left-leaning people, but relatively, at least relative to the Overton window at the time, left-leaning people that were in the Republican Party at the time. Eventually that switched. It doesn't matter if what it's fucking called. It doesn't matter if it's called Republican or called Democrat. What matters is what their actual positions are.
Biden went
Not
to
the labels.
The Ku Klux Klan member's funeral, where Joe Biden made the 1994 crime bill. Is that who we're supposed to stand by? The party that allow people of the same gender to marry one another and go against everything God stands for?
So you're against the separation of church and state then? You want the state to enforce your religious worldview, is what you're saying. And you want us to believe that you're pro-America? I can't quite wrap my head around that one, to be quite honest with you. That doesn't really seem to make any logical sense at all.
That goes for abortion. Is that what we're supposed to stand for?
Abortion of what? A non-sentient clump of cells? Yeah, who cares? Yeah, why would I give a non-sentient clump of cells any moral consideration?
Because it's like people in the comments are saying like we don't know what we stand behind and what we're supporting. You're talking about the president who's actually been for black people, who did the first step back, who gave money, millions of dollars to HBCUs where they didn't have to come back every year and ask for money.
They said like who voted for Trump? Over 80, almost 80 million people voted for Trump. Trump is more popular.
Yeah, ad populum fallacy. Yes, I agree that a lot of people are fucking stupid. Have you seen what the average median voter in this country sounds like? They sound like a fucking idiot.
Then they always compare to Reagan was the most popular president. Do you see what the job rate is now?
Yeah, we look absolutely ridiculous to other countries.
With inflation.
What do you think that European countries think about us? You think they're like, oh wow, America, they're doing real well right now. You know, they're on their A game.
That he is surpassing everything that these experts have said that he couldn't do with tariffs and inflation and all of this. He's accomplishing everything. His approval rate, I think, is 63%. That people are in favor of.
Median voter digs. Okay, am I wrong though?
Trump,
I'm sleep deprived and I still have twice as much, if not greater, than twice as much fluid intelligence as the median voter in this country at this point.
He has the high.
All right. It continually diminishes over time. Their ability to reason logically just seems to decrease. I don't know why. It just does.
Approval rating than even his predecessor, especially Biden.
What do you say to the people who keep saying in the chat?
I don't think that's true. What is Trump's approval rating in the Big 25? Trump approval rating. Oh no, he's down 4 points in the latest survey. 4 points from what? Okay. Can I get something that wouldn't be considered biased? I want like a graph. We have a graph. Let's see. Let's see. Job approval. 55% disapprove. Uh-oh. That's not good. The economy, since Trump took office, only 21% say it's better, 25% say it's the same, 53% say it's worse. So 53% are saying the economy is worse. Okay? Over 55%. Okay, over half. Well over half. Disapprove. Prices for things that you want or need. Oh no, what? Going up. Oh no. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Only 11% saying going down. And then 27% same. Okay. Likelihood of Trump's policies causing recession. Ooh, this one's interesting. What's this? 26% unlikely. Ooh, oh no, what's that? Ooh, 72% likely. Oh my god, almost 3/4. Almost 3/4 seem to agree that Trump's policies are going to cause an economic recession. Wow. Yeah, his approval ratings are real high. That's for sure. People are really approving of him. That's why 72% think that it's likely that Trump's policies will cause a recession. You know, that's what happens when you have a high approval rating. That's exactly what that means.
Chat that we voted against our best interests.
Well, they're uneducated.
Well, that's ironic coming from you after the provably false statement you made that we just disproved?
Educated.
That's why you think that Trump's approval rating is high. Now, we obviously just proved the opposite, but go on.
I did not vote against my best interest. You saw my
You did. Along with plenty of other dumb people just like you.
video. I don't know how many of y'all saw the Trump video saying that I, voted for Biden. I supported Biden, but not this time. It's Trump. And I meant that.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that don't actually look at what the policies are. I know, it's crazy. It's almost like people believe things as part of their aesthetic. Who would have guessed? What, you mean to tell me that the median voter barely thinks about their positions? Holy shit. Color me shocked.
From the bottom of my heart, and I still feel that way because the Democrats have nothing to offer. They can't even offer you a leader.
I mean, hopefully Mamdani could get there. I mean, he seems pretty promising. Zoran Mamdani.
They can't even offer you a plan. They can't offer you
Zoran Mamdani. Oh my god, I can't pronounce words. Mamdani could. That's all I'm gonna say.
any solutions. They don't even talk about Americans.
I mean, I guess Mamdani is specific to New York City, but he specifically talks about issues that are prevalent there. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that at a wider scale, right? If he were to become more known, if he were to, I don't know, run in larger, more important elections than even that, right? Maybe one day run for president, probably tackle a lot of the same issues, just at a national level instead of, a local or state level.
What they're going to do for us. The only thing they're interested in is getting a new voting block, and those are the illegal immigrants. That's it. That's their only.
How many illegal immigrants do you think are voting? Just like, how many? Like, how many votes? Do you think that the illegal immigrants are swinging the elections? Well, how many do you think there are? It's like fucking swinging elections towards the Democrats. What the fuck are you on about?
Concern. And they've been fighting tooth and nail, breaking the law to try to make it happen. But that's
The dog. That you realize that that they can't do that. They almost guarantee that they get deported if they do. What? Why would they do the thing that gets them deported? That makes no sense. You have no idea what you're talking about.
not going to change because you could jump up and down and holler and roll over, and that's not going to change the law.
The fact of the matter is, it's already illegal for illegal immigrants to vote in elections. If they get caught doing that, which they would, they get deported. So, what are you talking about?
It's not going to change people's minds, and it's not going to change how people have voted. There's none of that's going to change. But it is going to change. It's going to be more law and order.
But people,
Yeah, law and order. So, anti-freedom, essentially. That's what that means. Law and order is just a code word for being anti-freedom, right? Because these are at odds with one another, right? Wanting to use some power structure to crack down on individual people. That's what law and order references.
people don't
That's what that is literally what that means.
rely on their own brain. They rely on the mainstream media.
The media
And you rely on Fox News. Are you any better?
is
They tell
so.
them.
The media. That's like when we propose a question like, who influenced you more? Are the politicians or mainstream media? Who's
Neither.
influencing how you think more? Are you being
Neither. I come to my own conclusions by doing my own research independent of what people tell me. Right? That's why I have a lot of unpopular takes. Right? That's why I have takes that might be bad optics. I don't care. I don't care if a take is good optics or if it's popular or not. I care about the correctness of the take.
like you have the mayoral
A follower?
candidate?
I'm a follower because I do my own research. Okay. Makes a lot of sense.
What's his name? Madani? This man
Mamdani? Zoran Mamdani?
has only been in the United States, became a citizen only for 7 years.
No. No, he became a citizen when he was 7, I think. He's been a citizen for most of his life, though. But that's kind of sort of besides the point. has nothing to do with his credibility as a politician.
He's telling you he's a socialist, Democrat socialist. He wants to bring what's happening in England that's been overrun, and they're.
Do you think that England is a democratic socialist country? What do you think democratic socialism is? What are you talking about?
Just falling apart. He wants to bring, instead of, this being capitalism like United States, he wants to bring socialism, that the government run food stores. And what he's
socialism is when food stores? This is not a real person. This is not. I refuse to believe this is a real person.
Offering people, when we hear free, he said we're gonna have free buses, and they believe that. That's a
socialism is when free buses. Okay. All right. Sure, we'll go with that.
Influence.
And yelling at Tom Homan, and
he doesn't want law and order. He said he don't want ICE. He wants to defund the police.
Yeah, it's actually bad when ICE, I don't know, deports people without due process. Yeah, that's like a bad thing. I agree. Also, illegal immigrants don't even harm the economy at all. Like, it's like fucking notion that they're fucking stealing people's jobs. What jobs do you think they do? They do the ones that fucking basically no Americans, nobody that's born in America wants to do. All right, they have to do the hardest jobs. They get fucking underpaid. They're not doing that shit for fun. They're doing it because they have no other choice. Right? If anything, they're being taken advantage of.
Police. He want to look in New York. It's already. If you ever look at New York, watch Cash Jordan. He's boots on the ground. You want to see crime on a Gotham City level? We talk about without Batman. That's New York now. Imagine removing the officers.
What? But when did Mamdani say that he was going to remove the entire police force? What the fuck are you talking about? Just like making shit up. It's like she's arguing against the voices inside of her head.
Imagine that they're on a call because a child been raped and they send in a social worker and not a cop to arrest.
What? No? Mamdani said that cops shouldn't have to do the work of social workers, but that wouldn't be an example of something that you would use the social worker for. But what the fuck are you talking about? You're retarded.
That's that person. That's what he's proposing. It's so crazy. And people will vote for that. Yeah. And he's talking about, we don't like billionaires.
What? Huh? People are, you think that people are voting for, let me get this straight. If somebody gets raped, the rapist gets a social worker sent to their house instead of a police officer? Who is advocating for this? What the fuck are you talking about? Name a single politician or political person ever that's advocated for that. It's like she's just making up arguments as she goes along. It's crazy.
That's the new catchphrase for Democrats because they're all millionaires.
Well, your main guy Trump is a billionaire. A very greedy and boastful one at that. Is that really the line of argumentation you want to go down? What do you think Elon Musk's role was in getting Trump elected? Is this really the line you want to go down? What a stupid argument.
They're all millionaires, so
where did they get that money from?
I think at one point, Elon was projected to become the first trillionaire at some point. He was the #1 guy backing Trump. And Trump himself is a billionaire. So, is that really the line of argumentation you want to go down?
They're all millionaires. Before they say, the millionaires, and now they're saying billionaires. But guess who the billionaires are? The majority, newsflash, breaking news. The majority of the billionaires are Democrats.
Pause.
And you know who control mainstream media? The
Pause.
Democrats.
Why is it lagging?
And they're billionaires.
Richard said.
Stop lagging.
That's
okay,
who
all right. My PC is so
That's why the
fucking
media
bad. The media is influencing us.
talks the way it does about their leadership
YouTube?
and Trump's.
All right, I gotta
Richard said
refresh.
social.
I'm sorry. My shit is so broken. What the fuck?
We don't like billionaires.
Okay. Holy shit. That is weird as hell. All right. My shit is lagging.
That's the new catchphrase for Democrats because they're all millionaires. They're all millionaires. So
Trump is a billionaire.
Where did they get that money from?
they're all millionaires. Before they say, the
Do you think that Mom Donnie is a millionaire? What? Okay.
Billionaires, and now they're saying billionaires. But guess who the billionaires are?
Trump and Elon.
The majority, newsflash.
Trump and Elon.
Breaking news.
Trump
the
and Elon.
majority of the billionaires are Democrats.
Trump and Elon.
And you know who
Trump and
control
Elon.
mainstream
Trump and
media?
Elon. Trump
The
and Elon.
Democrats,
Trump
they're
and Elon.
billionaires.
Richard said,
Okay. Oh, but the people at Fox News are poor as fuck, surely.
That's who
They don't make any money. They do it for free. You know, Fox News is actually a charity organization.
influencing us. That's why the media
But Fox News isn't influencing, all right? They're just telling the truth, how it is, okay? Only the political sources that I disagree with are biased.
talks the way it does about their leadership and Trump's.
Richard said social workers don't arrest people, and that's
Well,
good.
they're not going to get arrested then.
What? Who is advocating for people that have, I don't know, committed violent crimes to not get arrested? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what he says he wants to do.
No, he didn't.
That's what he says he wants to
Are you
do.
saying that's a good
Literally just making that up.
thing, that they're not going to arrest people? There's
You
criminals
know,
out there.
what do you think going to happen with lawlessness?
What? I'm so confused. I thought you said that he was advocating in favor of democratic socialism. But now you're presenting it as if he's advocating in favor of what? Fucking anarcho-capitalism?
Where there's nobody to stop crime. What do you?
What? He didn't say that he wanted to remove the police force. That's not a policy position he holds. That's not a real thing. That doesn't exist. What
You think is going to happen? Go visit New York now. With
do you think's gonna happen if they implement the policy that nobody, literally anywhere, is advocating for? Okay.
the cops there. Imagine with no law enforcement. That's what's being promoted.
Imagine this scenario that's not being advocated for. That's what's being promoted. Even though there's literally zero examples of that being the case.
And people are so gullible. He said free bus.
My friend, you unironically believe, based on, I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know if you made it up or you heard it on Twitter. But either way, I think you've either genuinely convinced yourself or been convinced, without actually doing any research, that Mamdani is actually in favor of removing the entire police force, something that he has never said. He explained how he wants to help support them in what they do and help them, like, you know, focus on the right goals, right? And also, I don't know, not have them be in situations where they wouldn't need to be, right? One of the things he said is that they're overworked, right?
Buses. Who's going? Somebody has to pay for it. When are you going to ask?
Billionaires that pay taxes,
Where's that money going to come from?
rich people that pay taxes.
When New York has some sort of tax, just a driving tax.
You just answered the question. It's the fucking tax, dummy.
They're so broke.
That's where the money goes. What do you think taxes are used for?
That from spending $2 billion on illegal immigrants, they have no money to even.
Huh? Do you think that illegal immigrants don't make money or have jobs? Do you think that they just all live at homeless shelters collectively? What? I don't think... Wait, hold on. If they all collectively live at homeless shelters, then how are they taking our jobs? These are mutually exclusive
Clean the
positions.
streets and get rid of the rats in New York. So where are they supposed to get money from? That their transportation that you can ride for free.
You answered the question 5 seconds ago. The rich people that live in New York. You answered the question already, dummy.
And you know they got to pay for gas and employees and.
Well, it's going to be a lot more gas efficient to have like a bus, right? So how many people can fit on a bus at a single time if it's public transit? How much gas is required for X amount of miles? Compare that to the number of cars that each individual person would be driving and how much gas is needed for that, right? In terms of the collective amount of money, right? It'd be less in tax money than it would be in the amount of money that they would collectively spend on gas. Not to mention the fact that gas companies operate exclusively for profit, right? So that would be an additional cost, right? It would be even more expensive on that basis as well.
Maintenance of the bus and all this stuff that they still have to pay for right now. How are you going to ride free? Where's the money coming from?
Actually, Brown, there's Americans that can do the jobs that the immigrants are doing.
Americans do the jobs.
Yeah.
I thought that the immigrants were stealing all of our jobs.
Our hiring now, the rate has come out. There's so many people. We exceeded even the job rate this month and last month.
Yeah, she said
The job rate for what?
that, are you going to take the cheap labor? All the immigrants in your country are not criminals.
Y'all got to understand is that we had an administration that opened up our borders against the will of the people.
How many immigrants do you think that there were under Biden's administration compared to Trump's before, right? If we exclude years involving COVID, right? If we just look at, I don't know, 2017 compared to 2023, right? Or like the second half of their terms, right? And, you know, excluding COVID, right? Proportionally speaking, like, is it, I'm gonna be fucking real. I don't think that Biden was even close to opening borders.
Even their will. They didn't open up the borders because we needed more labor and we needed more help. That was not the reason. Let's make that clear.
Wasn't there a worker shortage though?
The borders were not opened up because we needed more people.
Dude, there's a worker shortage, so our solution should be to close the borders so we have less workers.
To work on farms and things like that.
Like, do you think maybe, like, I don't know, if we made the immigration process easier and allowed more people to immigrate, that, like, maybe that might, I don't know, make it easier, like, make the process of legally immigrating here easier so that corporations can't take advantage of them as much, right? Just saying.
Those people are not, we're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people that came in the last 4 years. Because we already had the farm workers and people working in different industries. They were already here, but they were not burning flags. They were not
burning flags? Who fucking cares, dude? That's their First Amendment right.
Not destroying property. They were not.
Whose property? What are you talking about?
Fighting our law enforcement. They weren't. They actually followed.
Oh, dude, if something is law enforcement, then it must be correct. You know, law equals good.
The law of this
It's a very relativistic worldview.
country. We have laws to be kept. That we all.
Do you think that if something is the law, that it makes it morally just to enforce no matter what? Like, what about when the law was that if I don't know, if you're black, you're not allowed to go to the same restrooms as white people? I mean, that was the law, but it was wrong, correct? Yeah, of course that was wrong. Like, just because something is the law, it doesn't make it correct. You need some sort of actual moral standard. It's not whether or not it's the law.
Have to keep. They don't get a pass because you're a non-citizen that you're going to run over our government. They don't get.
How much control do you think illegal immigrants have over the government? What are you talking about? They can barely afford to live.
A pass to do that.
Like, they're barely scraping by, and you think that, like, there's like this cabal of immigrants that are somehow all living in homeless shelters or some shit, and also stealing all of our jobs, and they're actually also this big cabal of illegal immigrants that are controlling the government. Do you not see why that's fucking stupid? This is the dumbest thing ever.
And with President Trump is dealing with a problem that they caused, but y'all don't blame them.
Which one? Because you've mentioned 3 mutually exclusive problems. Ones that are logically impossible to coincide with one another. Like, you are defying the laws of logic.
Y'all want to blame somebody being in office. Y'all were blaming him the first week in office. Like, everything that's been going on was his fault when he wasn't even president.
Huh? No. Nobody was saying that anybody, either president, was at fault for the Ukraine versus Russia war, that the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Nobody was saying that Biden or Trump was at fault. Trump was making the claim that if he was in office, there would have been no wars. Ukraine would not have been invaded by Russia if he was in office. And guess what the first thing that happened? You know, the first big global event that happened while Trump was in office. Oh shit. Iran and Israel are at war. Well, who would have guessed? The literal opposite of what Trump said.
Y'all won't even hold them, which I will for you. Because I voted them in the last time.
Okay, so
I'll hold them
I
accountable.
would say the answer to why they brought them in, because Ashley's saying,
I told them they brought them in for votes.
yeah,
They didn't bring them in because we need, and guess what?
Illegal immigrants don't vote, right? Because they don't want to get caught and deported. You're fucking
We
stupid.
were doing damn well before them. Our economy was great. We didn't have no wars. We didn't have any of this
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Do you think that immigration causes wars? Is that the argument you're making?
stuff going on. That's going on now. All this unrest and all this divide is what the Democratic Party wants. They gaslight.
No, the Democratic Party is the most fucking lukewarm, pussy party imaginable. You are way off. They have the opposite problem. They're fucking pansies, right? Now, if you look at what, the right-wingers are doing in Trump, they are the most divisive motherfuckers. Have you seen the way that Trump talks about his opposition? Now compare that to the way that his opposition talks about him. And try to keep an eye on who instigates that. Especially in 2016, right? Keep an eye at that. If you're actually looking into researching that, right? See who instigates all of that, right? People voted for Trump initially because they viewed him as like being like sort of anti-establishment. They liked that he was an asshole, right? They didn't like the fucking corpo speak, right? The detached corpo speak. They liked that he was, willing to hurl insults at his opponents, right? I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. What I am saying is it's quite frankly dishonest to claim that the Democrats are the ones that are causing division. Like, it's just not the case. Like if you do what Trump does, you do cause division, whether you realize it or not. Like, that is the logical consequence of that.
Fighting us, and this is a house of cards, and y'all slow to the party. Y'all late to the party. We're just catching up. This was a well thought out plan for America. They didn't bring in 20 million people, homeless people, and put them on the backs of Americans. And we have Americans that don't get Medicaid. They can't get Medicare. They can't get Social Security. And you go to the Social Security office, they there. Go to the Medicaid office, they there. You go to
She's yapping.
that before them, and we'll do it after them. And the ones that's been here for years that are been great citizens of this country, they deserve to be citizens. I hope
Well, ICE seems to disagree since they disagree with due
that they
process.
look at the ones that have been here 15, 20 years that didn't apply for citizenship, that are saying, I hope they get to become. But the ones that came in now, that want to fly other flags from all over
That want to fly other flags from other countries? That's the worst thing you can think of? You shouldn't be allowed to immigrate here if you fly a non-American flag. Just say you hate free speech. Say you hate America. Please. I fucking beg you. You hate this country. You hate the Constitution. You hate the First Amendment. Just fucking say it. It's obvious.
but here,
the ones that came in now,
bye, Felicia.
the ones that came in now don't have the same morals as
Yeah.
you could say you and I.
Right.
These people are
We don't give a damn what Trump says. We care about what he does. He is deporting the illegals who came over during the Biden administration. You realize he's deporting immigrants without due process. Like, what's your justification for that? The whole without due process part? The thing that is anti-constitutional? The thing that goes against American values? This isn't even a leftist argument. It's like, that's not even a fucking, that's like hardly even a liberal argument. This is a fucking centrist argument. I could go the full-on leftist route if you want. Right? We're gonna make those arguments. But this is some fucking basic shit that everybody should agree on.
crazy in their mind for the things we're seeing them doing. One set of a girl who was sleeping on a subway on fire. These people don't have the same morals as the average American citizen or immigrants of the past.
And let me tell you,
Immigrants of the past. What do you think the rhetoric around immigrants of the past was? Do you think that the American view on them was any different? What do you think they thought about Irish and Italian people? How do you think they were treated? What kind of talking points do you think were used against them? Do you think they were much different from the ones that are used currently? And what ended up being the outcome? Oh, right, they integrated themselves into society. Right. Hoo-ha, the whole world works. Nobody fucking cares anymore.
Want to count people's pockets. Miss Teresa, let me tell you something. We don't get paid for doing this. And even if we did,
Dude, don't worry, all right? They say delusional shit on the internet for free. Oh, wow. Oh, how brave of
put
them.
time in, and it's deserving because the work is there, the content is there, and
I'm sorry, what? You think that you deserve to get paid? Like, people owe you money for saying dumb shit into a microphone? Okay.
you're even listening. So don't be counting other people's pockets. Worry about your own pockets.
Dude, she's so mad at this one chatter.
We're not making anything.
Yeah.
I promise to God, we're not getting any money. Only time we get anything is y'all super chat, which y'all should, and y'all can do gifts.
Y'all should super chat to me instead. Or use the Streamlabs to get the message. I read any and all donations, of course, even if it's just $1. Just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, any and all support is very much appreciated. I'd love to do this if it's a full-time career one day. But right now I do this as like a part-time job / hobby.
Gifts, which y'all should, because they have something that's new called gifts, and we get jewels, and it's like 1 cent or whatever per jewel. You get 100 jewels. That's $1.
See, the difference though is I don't think that I necessarily deserve it. Right? It's just like a thing that I would like to have. Right? See the difference? It's not I deserve this. I'm fucking owed it.
Y'all could buy that to support our channel.
You guys owe me this. Okay, you guys could be supporting my channel right now. Don't you understand? I put so much work into my content. You're not even supporting me. That's what they sound like.
Do have a cash app. People don't give that way, and we would appreciate it if you did. But as far as getting money, we don't.
Yeah, this is mainly to support America.
This is support America.
By saying that people shouldn't be allowed to immigrate if they fly flags that aren't the American flag? Where? In their fucking lawn, I guess? Okay.
And that's the honest,
This is that they're the defenders of America.
the God truth.
They're defending America from free speech and the Constitution, of
In
course.
Jesus' name. That's the honest to God truth.
Huh? So you're going to just put church and politics together, of course. No separation of church of state either.
So don't worry about
Really hates the First Amendment specifically.
what's going
I don't know what the First Amendment did to you.
on over here, because my Father provides all my
Like, the First Amendment is like my favorite one. I love that one. That's like the best one.
needs according to his riches and glory through Christ Jesus, not through you. Everybody think when people have a channel, oh, they're getting this, they're getting that, or Monty. Don't worry about it, because God got us. So we don't have to
You also seem racist. Are you saying that because I'm black? This is fucked up. I can't believe this.
worry about what we're getting and not getting. But we deserve it just like these other channels, but we're not getting anything for this. We're not getting anything for it. We're getting pennies. We're not getting nothing. We really aren't. But that's how this mindset is. They think, oh, they got this, let's do this, or let's do that. If you can't offer anything to this channel and you worry about people's pockets, then don't come back here.
Dude, she's droning on about this one point. She's clearly insecure about it. Dude, it's fine. Sometimes streams don't make that much money. It's okay.
This is for people, truth seekers. This is for people who want a conversation.
They've been spamming that shit. Oh, okay. I didn't know. That was the first time I saw that.
That want to work out officials to work together. I want my leaders to work together. There's
She is black. You're worse than the KKK. Dude, I'm literally Hitler.
no more red and blue. We all are blended into the same environments, and they're supposed to represent all of us.
Unless you're like trans or not already wealthy or, I don't know, disprivileged in some way or, you know, work for a corporation rather than owning one. But go on. Talk about how they're representing all the interests. Nope. Now, do I think that the Democrats represent the interests of the people either? Not really. They do a better job than the Republicans.
All of us.
Now, both parties are, I would say, right, when you have a center-right party and a far-right party, okay? Because what they ultimately do, right, is they either want to maintain the existing status quo or revert it backwards, right? So really, you've got a conservative and a reactionary party, right? But both parties have one thing in common, right? And it's that they have big donors that want to stay in power, that want to maintain their wealth, right? That will lobby for that. Guess what? It fucking works. Guess what? They get what they want because they have money.
Your congressman,
Yes, they're both wings of the property party, exactly.
if you vote, they could be a Democratic congressman, and you voted Republican, which I have a Democratic congressman, but they got to represent me even though I voted.
Correct the posture, dude. It's fucking almost 6 in the morning. It's been almost 24 hours since I've last slept. No, it's been more than that. No, because I'm thinking about like when I started stream yesterday. No, it's been longer since my last sleeping. I think. You're defending people who would hang you? But who am I defending? Huh? Okay then.
For a Republican, they have to represent all of us. And as long as they could gaslight you and you try to find fault in everything, that y'all don't want anything great because people are so miserable.
No, I'd love for something great to happen. That'd be awesome. It's probably not gonna happen under Trump, right? I don't say that because I want that to be the case, right? I really don't. I say that because it's realistic.
There is no
I don't say things because I want them to be true. I say them because they are true, right? And if I find out that they aren't true, then I change my position, and then I say the other thing.
joy in your life. For God's sakes, be happy. Be happy.
Unless you're like gay or trans or something, you know. That's where he draws the line.
You know, so it doesn't make any sense. But I'm holding them accountable, and so should you.
A black person is mad.
Oh, well, that's not unusual.
They say.
Now, what's interesting is they'll respond to messages like that, but there were people making counter arguments in the chat, right? I was popping in, right? I was leaving messages, right? They wouldn't read any of the actual arguments that would address their points, but they would read those, right? They'd read like the fucking diabolical, like the diabolical, edgy 12-year-old thinks racism is funny after they find out what the N-word is for the first time. Like, okay, just read those, you know, the very important arguments.
Y'all on here complaining, but y'all got Trump, Jack A.
No, and see, that's how people don't have no substance, because you're not even
Yeah, because you're only reading the one racist person that's like, you're angry? Typical of a black person. It's like, yeah, that's the one comment you've read so far. Yeah, you chose the one with the least substance. You chose the dumbest one there was.
comprehending. Nobody is complaining. We're spitting out facts. It's a difference. It's like when you say something.
Okay, but his race is never funny. Look, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. All right. Look, there are rules, but there are exceptions to rules. Okay.
Something that's honest and true, and you're passionate about it, then they want to just throw anything out there. But you're not saying.
Look, it depends on the context. Okay, humor is very sort of, what's a good way of putting it? Depends on a lot of variables, right? There's like things that you directly and indirectly communicate with humor, right? Intentionally and not. But usually, like, unless you're like delivering a joke poorly or accidentally delivering the wrong message, usually people sort of get the sort of gist what you're going for.
Anything. You're not saying anything at all. If you want black people that's on here, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. If you're voting, Democrats have been in charge for 12 of the last 16 years.
Yeah, I think that they don't do that much, but at least they're not like actively ruining the country, I
They had the
guess. You know,
Senate, the
that's-
House, and the President.
I'll take the conservative Democratic Party over the reactionary far-right Republican Party. Again, it's two dog shit options. You gotta choose the less bad.
See, I know I'm a legislative director. They had every opportunity to give us anti-hate crime bills, do something about black employment, all that.
HBCU.
You're a silly little communist. You'd be next in line to be shot after the rich. You're all morons. Shot by who? What? The working class? Well, okay. I'm confused. Why would like explain how, I don't know, say for instance, well, I don't know, what's something I'd be in favor of? Like if the government started subsidizing worker cooperatives, can you explain how that would lead to me getting shot? Like how do you get from point A, which is the government is now subsidizing worker cooperatives, to point B, which is I get shot? Where do you draw the line from point A to point B? I guess is the question I'm trying to ask.
HBCUs, they don't do anything for us, but we're running to the polls and they don't have to do a...
You're such a victim, OMG. No? I was like asking a question to something somebody else said. Somebody else was saying, actually, the result of this is you would get shot. And I'm like, okay, how do you get from point A to point B?
Damn thing. You ought to be tired of it. I am.
So I asked,
Your vote should mean something and it should be earned. And
I'm gonna be real. Considering how, dumb the average Trump supporter is, how they have a tendency to vote in large quantities, maybe there should be a system of earning votes. You have to like, I don't know, pass some sort of fluid intelligence test. Let's
if
say
they don't do nothing for my people, they're never gonna get my vote again.
someone asked, do you agree with this bill?
It's different parts. I didn't read the 900 pages. They have the...
So, let me get this straight. You're advocating in favor of a bill that you didn't even fucking read. You don't know anything about it. We could tell that you didn't know anything about it based on how you described it, right? Now, I'm not somebody that's going to go on a live stream talking about the big, beautiful bill as my main subject or whatever the fuck, right? Because I don't really know that much about it. But what I will tell you is this bitch has no idea what she's talking about.
Because the bill, they revised the bill. What did they say? They revised the bill. So there's revisions of it. So I don't know everything that the bill contains because I have not read 900 pages. But the things that I've heard,
the things that you've heard, so hearsay. And where did you hear these things from? Because this circles back to the other point that you made earlier, about how people obtain information, how they get their news, right? Earlier, you were complaining about how the mainstream media is manipulating you, or whatever the fuck, and how that's where people get their information from. But you're saying that you get yours from hearsay. You heard people say things about the bill. Do you think that hearing people on Twitter say things about the bill is better? So is that better or worse than watching CNN? I would argue that's actually worse. Right?
that's going to be positive for this country, it's better than what it was. Everything about the bill is an improvement to the last administration.
Yes.
Based on what? You haven't even read the bill. You don't even know what's in the fucking bill. You just heard like a few people talk about it on what, Twitter? Again, all you have to go off of is hearsay. Oh, well, I heard so-and-so say that it was good on Twitter. And, you know, I trust them. They sound pretty reasonable.
Because did Biden say no tax on tips? Did Biden do anything about no tax on...
Is there a no tax on tips policy in the bill?
Social Security? No tax on overtime? Did he bring any money into this?
I don't know if those are actual, let's see. No tax on overtime. Okay, that might be part of it. Let's see. Overtime tax break will function similarly to the income Oh, okay. That actually seems to be the case. Okay. It's something I'm not necessarily against. Right, see how easy that is? Right, if it's the case that that's true. Fair enough. Marcus can deduct. Okay. Fair enough. Now watch, I can just be like, yeah, if that's in the bill, then that's a good thing in the bill. Now I don't know what the other 900 pages say, so I'm not gonna make a judgment of the bill based on that one aspect. But see how easy that is?
This country, do he have trillions of dollars coming in?
Yeah.
Well, you know what they did? They gave us a burden. They brought all these people in, homeless, and they put it on our backs. Not the ones that's been here.
Yeah, nobody has read the 900 pages. Like, look, I'm anti-Trump, but even though I don't have a strong position on the big beautiful bill, because I haven't fucking read it, and I don't intend on it. I don't want to read a 900-page bill. I don't care. I don't care enough to read it. Okay. All right. Once they start talking about fucking Social Security, I get fucking bored out of my mind. Okay, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. Maybe I should. I probably will when I'm older. Okay, but right now, all right, I'm in my early 20s. All right, I'm 21. I'm barely old enough to drink.
The ones that have come in now,
And someone said,
and they feel entitled.
someone said,
You will eventually. Yes, I know, but right now it fucking bores me. It's made that way, I would assume. Yeah, I'll probably see if I can get like an unbiased summary of it. Which is like how I would go about it, just so I have like a general understanding and like a general way of leaning. But if there's like there's like a serious debate about it or whatever, then I could maybe get into like the nitty gritties. But right now, I don't care about this bill particularly.
thoughts on Trump's terrorists?
Well, I'm not an expert. All I know is that
Bringing money.
Blindly assuming non-voters would break the propaganda spell and vote quote-unquote correctly replaces one unfounded hope with another. It depends on who the non-voters are, right? We would just look at that by looking at polling data right before an election and then comparing it to the results of the election, right?
Yeah.
That's how we know which way the non-voters would have voted.
He's bringing money. He's bringing money
What,
in.
$80 billion?
And one thing about Trump,
This dude thinks they're aspen gold. Who, me? Well, I don't have a dead rat in my room or cockroaches. I do have some clothes laying on my bed, so I don't know. Maybe we're getting there. I don't know. Maybe I should start my very own booger wall. Chat, should I create a booger wall and show it to you guys? Chat, who wants to see my toenail collection? You know, all the libs got out to vote? No, the polling data shows the literal opposite. You're just like wrong about that. Right? If you look at the polling data and compare it to the results of the general election, it actually shows that the voter turnout was very low for Kamala Harris, right? There's a reason that the polling data for Kamala Harris is way better for Kamala Harris than the actual results of the election. Yo, thank you, Primal Instinct, for the $2. Who wants me to give a shout out to their boy, Nicholas Gurr. It's his birthday. Yo, shout out to his boy, Nicholas Gurr. All right, we love Nicholas Gurr over here.
his experience, he's a world leader. He's been talking to the world, unlike anybody else that come into this office. He knows how to twist arms. You got Trump, the president, and behind the scenes, you got Trump, the gangster. Trump
the gangster? I thought you said that he was a man of law and order. You can't be of law and order and a gangster. Okay, those don't coincide with one another. Okay, those are at odds.
Oh, he go gangster on these other countries, and he knows how.
What? Which ones? Russia? Oh wait, he sucks Putin's dick. Okay then.
How to use that power.
Not Russia, obviously.
And that leadership.
Israel. Oh wait, no. Never mind. Yeah, shit. Okay, well, maybe there's some other countries out there that he does that with. I'm sure they exist. Sure they do.
And he knows how to make them bend and be fair to the United States of America. It's what I understand.
I didn't say gangster was indicative of ill will. Being anti-law and order is not an ill will thing. I'm anti-law and order.
And is that 170 countries?
Some may describe me as a chaotic good. Others that disagree with me may describe me as a chaotic evil. But everyone agrees that I'm chaotic, at least somewhere on the spectrum.
That we pay tariffs to. Y'all don't have a problem with that. But they overcharge us. They're not fair with the United States. Trump comes in and he said, why
Yo, thank you, Patrick Davis, for the $5, you beautiful fucking bastard.
are we paying so much more than everyone else? He's making it.
Little girl. She's talking about having a thug mentality. Okay. You kids got all the answers. Wait, no. All you do is bitch without any solutions. What? What are you talking about? If I correct the wrong stuff somebody says, I don't have to offer a solution to the problem. To say, hey, you said some dumb shit, here's the correct information instead. You can be against people saying things that are wrong without having a solution to all of the world's problems. Oh, what's that? You haven't solved world hunger yet? You haven't come up with a solution for that? Then why are you criticizing this person for doing something that would actively make world hunger worse? It's like, well, because they're making it worse. Just because I can't fucking solve world hunger doesn't mean that I can't criticize someone who's making the problem worse. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Even playing field for us. Receive that. Receive that. They know. I know now. If you look at any reports, it's working.
Thank you, Christians Against Dinosaurs, for the €1.
It's working. So we should be happy to have a leader that's a boss.
I need to stop biting my nails. Okay, but he's not a boss. We've seen evidence of the contrary.
I am. Maybe y'all like weak men and no leadership.
Weak men? I mean, femboys are kind of hot.
I like strong men, and I like to see a boss in action.
Are you sure you don't like any subby femboys? I don't know. I think subby femboys are superior to dominant men.
Every day people got a tax break, and the billionaires are the Democrats.
Change this bitch. She is brain dead. Can you find someone who articulates the conservative view well? There's nobody that articulates it well. There are people that are dishonest enough. Sort of like frame it in a way where they sort of avoid a lot of the points, right? But the thing is those take a lot longer to sort of go through every fucking minute detail. Like, it's like they'll say like a trillion wrong things and I have to like nitpick every single one. But sometimes that'll take ages.
And that's what y'all aren't getting. Who owns NBC, CBS, ABC, MSNBC?
Like, there are people that have like the verbal intelligence to say things that sound good, right? But they don't say things that are correct. They just have like above average verbal intelligence, low sense of morality or self-worth, high sense of what would the word be? Not personal pride. That's not the word I'm looking for. I guess not greed, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm tired. It's been over 24 hours since the last time I slept. Also, thank you, MagicShroom666 for the 2 saying buy a Diet Pepsi. I mean, those aren't that good for you. Diet sodas are also bad for you.
CNN, all the people that's...
Greetings from Russia. Well, what else can I say? Glory to Ukraine. Hell yeah, I agree. The main thing to prevent the victory of Putin's evil, which is hard to live with. Russia's changed terribly in 3 years. Yeah. I'm glad that there are people in Russia that recognize that.
Who donated $1.5 billion in 3 months to come out?
Yeah, bottom conservative who wants to be punished by the government.
Campaign.
Feel like you're just going after easy pickings? I don't know, this person just fucking showed up in my live feed. Like, who would be a difficult person to go after? Because people have different definitions. It's like I go after Ben Shapiro and then people are mad because it's like, dude, everyone's made fun of Ben Shapiro. It's like, okay, fine, I'll make fun of Nick Fuentes. Oh, well, he's like a fringe minority. He's like far right. Okay, I'll fuck it. It's like, who do I go after? So it's like people have like different definitions of what they think that the good conservative is. I don't know which one I'm supposed to target. Ben is also retarded. See, but how am I supposed to know with like what fucking like which of the 5,000 different like right-wing aesthetics you have? Like which aesthetic do you like it to be presented with? Just sounds smart. Yeah. Well, that's gonna be the best case scenario you get, right? Is somebody like Ben or Andrew Wilson who's good at debate, right? Like I would lose to Andrew Wilson in a debate, but it's not because he's correct. He's like wrong about pretty much everything, right? But he is way more rhetorically proficient than I am, right? Right. There's a reason that I don't take debate seriously, right? There are people that are way better than me at debate. Right? I just leave that to them. I engage in it a little bit, but Andrew Wilson isn't a good example either. His worldview is too religious, IMO. Okay, well, what is a good example? Who the fuck do you want me to cover? Because like that's the point that I'm making is like all of like the good examples that people have ever brought up are like people that are like well-spoken, have high fluid intelligence, very rhetorically effective, but like they're just like wrong about everything. But it's like I just don't enjoy having to like pause like every 10 seconds to like have to Google and like research the thing they said for 10 minutes to see if what they're saying supports their claim, right? Because they'll say things that are contingent upon these like side. It gets very tedious after a while, right? Depends on the topic. Okay, trans issues. Who's the best person to talk about trans issues? What about you, Mark? Why don't you make a video explaining your beliefs, and I can react to that. I could cover your beliefs and the things that you think. You could script it out and everything, and I will react to it raw. You would say Charlie Kirk or actual Justice Warrior. Charlie Kirk. Why Charlie Kirk over Ben Shapiro? Like what's the meaningful difference there? Charlie Kirk is dumber than Ben Shapiro. I don't know what they meaningfully disagree on. Ben is whack. Oh, I agree with that. Charlie Kirk is no better. He fucking debates random college students that have never done debate before. Yo, thank you against Christians Against Dinosaurs for the €5 saying you do what you do best, keep up the good work and stay awesome. Lots of love and hugs. Yeah. Charlie Kirk has a scarier smile. True, it scares people into submission. He's a shill. Dude, all of these people are fucking in it for the money. Do you think that these people aren't grifters? And I'm not saying that because they're right wing, by the way. Okay, there are plenty of people on all sides of the political aisle that are fucking grifters, and it's so obvious when they do it. Okay, Charlie Kirk is no exception, right? He does this shit for money. Right? Right? Now, I would say that about a lot of people, right? Like, I am not a fan of Hassan, Vosh, or Destiny, or any of those people either. I used to be a Vosh fan. Charlie hides Jew curls? Ah, shit. Check out Charlie Kirk at Cambridge University. How long is it? Because I feel like if I debated Charlie Kirk on trans issues, I feel like I would win. I'm not even gonna lie. At least if I had preparation, I would. Is this unedited? Do people have equal control of the mics? As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile, dude, no fucking way, dude. Why do they have to have a Christian conservative, more expensive, shittier version of everything? Dude, this is an hour. You want me to watch this shit? I don't want to watch it. We're not gonna watch an hour. Okay? Yes, set up very well. Okay. Alright.
Remember, you have the right of response.
Stop. Go back. Nope. Back up. Okay. There we go.
I have quite a simple question for you. Now, I know you've debated Dean Withers on Jubilee
Like,
before.
so... I'd probably want to watch the debate between him and Dean Withers, who actually knows how to debate. But it's 400 Cambridge students. These people have no media training, no background in debating, right? You're just like random, like, whoa, well, Charlie Kirk destroyed Glup Shitto down the street. Holy shit, that's so impressive.
I was wondering why you now...
Dude, there's a bee stuck in the mic? Ah. Damn. You're avoiding this because you have nothing to say off the bat? But I haven't seen it.
I'll refuse to engage
Yeah, of course I don't have anything else to say because I haven't fucking watched the video. No shit.
with further debate with him.
Wait, hold on. First of all, he's coming on my show this summer, and let me get this straight. I flew 5,000 miles across the world to have you ask
Watch
why
the kid with the red hair. When are they? When's the kid with red hair?
I'm not going to debate a left-wing YouTuber.
Well, I mean, he continuously tries to get your attention at your campus.
Wait, so he's bitching out of a debate?
I'm just using my freedom of speech to ask you a simple question. You seem to be dodging it for some reason.
No, I've debated him twice.
This is
Of at least this idea that there is a
towards the end. Okay.
success. Well, again, these are ongoing negotiations, and it's a lot better than when your prime minister, Boris Johnson, went alongside all
Dude, I don't care. This is fucking British people politics. Dude, I don't know shit about British politics. What the fuck am I meant to say? Dude, I don't care about British politics. Okay, they all have crooked teeth, alright? Dude, I'm not gonna be able to comment on it because I don't know anything about it. Okay. Charlie Kirk. Dean Withers. Dean Withers kind of cute though. Not gonna lie. Where's the debate? Can I have like the whole debate? I want Dean Withers versus Charlie Kirk. Where is it? Where does he debate Charlie Kirk? I don't know what's the video? Dude. It's set up for later this year? Oh. Okay. Yeah, that'll be a debate that is actually worth watching. Dean Withers actually debates people. Like, I'm not interested in, like, this, like, fucking stupid back and forth. It's like, oh, you came on here to ask me about internet drama? Well, it's my First Amendment. Dude, who cares, dude? This is fucking stupid. Like, the first thing. I don't want to watch that. Alright, we'll skip around and see if they talk about, like, trans issues or something. Charlie Kirk. Does he debate anyone with clout? Like, anyone that matters that has, like, their own platform? Dude, yeah, oh, debate moments. Great. Charlie Kirk trans debate. Liberal trans loving student. Is this going to be somebody that's like not able to define woman or something? Yeah, that would be somebody that identifies with the feminine social archetype. But they're not going to be able to give that definition. They're going to say, well, it's somebody that identifies as a woman, and that's going to be a circular definition. It's like, well, then I just like begs the question. It's going to be the line of argumentation or some shit like that. I've heard that shit like a million times. All right, it's 3 minutes. I'm too tired for this. Alright, let's see what fucking boring, mediocre arguments he makes.
You would identify as an intersex individual, right? Of whichever gender.
Dude, so right off the bat, he starts in the middle of the conversation. What? Why are you, I mean, you can afford to make the video longer. Why are you starting in the middle of the conversation? So we have no idea what this person said prior.
You have the predominant chromosomal tilt towards.
No, I'm pretty sure the argument that they're making Is that by your standard, right? If we're gonna define sex and gender to be the same, right, then you would have to define the gender of intersex people to be, well, on the basis of them being intersex, correct? Because that's their sex, right? So if it's the case that like let's say chromosomes the ultimate deciding factor in terms of your gender, right? Then people with XY female syndrome, right, whether that be Swire syndrome or some sort of androgen insensitivity syndrome, right? Despite being biologically female, as in they are phenotypically female, right? Technically they would be genotypically male, right? So that the genome wouldn't be acted upon, right? But by that standard, they would have to be classified as men, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? If you want to say it's on the basis of, like, I don't know, reproductive organs, right? There are people that are born with, like, both sets, right? In which case, like, okay, if there's two genders and sex and gender are the same, okay, well, what gender are intersex people? Oh, well, that's an exception. Ah, so they're exception gender. No, that's an anomaly. Oh, anomaly gender. That's a new one. Is that a xenogender? No, it doesn't count. Okay. Well, how do you categorize them, right? If sex determines gender, then their sex, which is intersex, is their gender, right? If those are the same thing, that means you have to necessarily be able to use them interchangeably. That's the argument.
But what if your physical experience doesn't,
It's a mutation, it's not natural. What do you think the word natural means, right? Natural means that it occurs in nature. Do intersex people not exist in nature? Also, I hate to break it to you, but every genome that exists, every single characteristic that humans have, is a result of genetic mutations, right? Every phenotypical characteristic we have is a result of genetic mutations that we've acquired, right? So why is it the case that all of the genetic mutations that are more common are considered natural, but the ones that are less common aren't? But even you wouldn't say that either, right? Because like 1% of people are redheads. You wouldn't say that redheadedness is unnatural, right? Because it's like uncommon or it's like a mutation. Right, so this would be a very good argument. Yo, thank you, Magic Shroom 666 for the one saying, made a joke after donating and got timed out. Swear to God, I'm not a troll. I'll check my history. Yeah, mods, fix that. If you false ban somebody, make sure to unban them. Don't fuck with that.
your phenotype.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
doesn't
question.
match that.
Why should your experience determine who you are?
In what sense? This is like a very vague question. This is like a fucking meaningless question. Determine who you are. I think that people should like be able to identify themselves. But again, I don't even know like what he's asking that in response to, because they started in the middle of the fucking conversation.
But if I was
right? So I was just like making assumptions based on like how I would go about the conversation, right? But obviously this question doesn't address anything that I just talked about, so obviously this went a little bit differently.
intersex and presented as a female, you would think I was a female, but if I wanted to become a male, you'd be like, oh no, that's not right either.
But this is a lot of
So this isn't the argument that I would use, right? It's not about becoming male or female biologically, right? It has nothing to do with it, right? If it's the case that the line of argumentation you want to go down, right, is the thing that I presented, right? Like if sex and gender are the same and I'm intersex, what gender am I? Right? And if they say anything other than intersex gender, then it's the case that they believe that they cannot believe that sex and gender are interchangeable, right? If they say, well, you'd still be like a man or a woman, right? It's like, okay, well, you don't believe sex and gender are the same then, right? You've premise locked them. You've created a fork, right? That would be the best way to go about this, right? I'm not like a particularly good debater, but I do understand like some like basic strats like that.
hypothetical.
Right? You premise lock them.
So let's.
All right, they're the classic premise lock.
I'm trying to understand the question. So if you were intersex,
Yes.
of which you're not,
I didn't say it. No, I wasn't saying that they're a statistical anomaly. I was repeating things that I had heard. Right? I've heard people say, oh, well, that's an anomaly. Right? Ah, so they're anomaly gender then. No, they're an exception. Ah, so they're exception gender. No, but like it doesn't count. Ah, I see. It doesn't count gender. That's a new one. How do you explain away chromosomes though? Wait, so do you believe so Mark, do you believe it's the case that chromosomal makeup's the ultimate deciding factor in somebody's gender? Like just like a yes or no will suffice, right? We'll go down this line of argumentation. Because I feel like I already explained this with talking about phenotypical versus genotypical sex, but maybe you weren't paying attention. Yes, okay. So how would you describe somebody that's like a biological female? They're assigned a female at birth. They have all of the reproductive organs of a biological female, but they have XY chromosomes. This is a thing that happens, right? I think there are two main causes of this. One of them is something called Swyer syndrome, right? Another one is called androgen insensitivity, right? So this causes you to be able to have XY chromosomes. This is very rare, right? This doesn't happen very often, right? But there are many instances where genotypically you have that male male Y chromosome, right? But phenotypically you're not impacted by it, essentially, is what it boils down to. So phenotypically you're female. I might not have been here. Yeah, so how would you address that point? Like, how would you address the instance of like biological females that have XY chromosomes, right? That I just brought up, right? I mean, this is something that's been documented many different times, right? Or would you bite the bullet and say, well, they're men, and they should be forced to use he/him pronouns? In which case, you'd obviously be in fucking sane, right? My girlfriend is an XX male and a trans woman. Yeah, it's like, I would say that, like I would go as far as to say that chromosomal makeup and like, or I guess like genotypical and phenotypical sex are heavily correlated, but they're not even necessarily always going to be the same, right? Like you can have a male phenotypical sex and a female genotypical sex and vice versa, right? Many documented cases of this. Yeah, just look up XX male syndrome and XY female syndrome, right? And you'll find this. Correlation to equal causation. That's not even part of the equation. That's not even the point, right? Point is that, like, yeah, I think that they're heavily correlated, but like but regardless of that fact, right? Like there are instances where they don't correlate, right? They don't even correlate at all. There is not an inverse correlation, right? But yeah. Ex-wife, female, no, XY, like the letters. Anyways. But yeah, those are disorders that exist. So like, how would you categorize those people? Because if your system doesn't allow you to categorize them as women, then your system is redundant and stupid and nobody will ever use it. Anyways. Let's see. I'm waiting for Mark to respond with something. Wait. Mark said it doesn't involve... So being gay is different. It doesn't require unnatural intervention. Being born with both sets of genitals doesn't require unnatural intervention. Like that's something that happens without intervention. Yeah, it's a rare disorder. Yeah, I don't disagree with it being rare. But what does that have to do with the point that I made? Right? If you believe that chromosomal makeup is the ultimate deciding factor, right? You have to bite the bullet and say that those specific people would have to have genders that are on the basis of their chromosomal makeup, right? If it's the case that you believe that I don't know, say for instance, that doesn't matter because you're basing it on their phenotypical sex, right? Like if you think that their phenotypical sex ought to supersede their genotypical sex, that's fine, right? But we need to rule out genotypical sex, right? Rule that out. We can cross that off the whiteboard, right? Because clearly you don't care about that, right? Because here's the example of the male phenotypical sex, right? With somebody with Spire syndrome, male phenotypical sex, female phenotypical sex, right? Or sorry, male genotypical sex, female phenotypical sex, right? So clearly you believe that the phenotypical sex overrides the genotypical sex when they're at odds, right? So cross off genotypical sex. We don't need to worry about that. No more chromosomes, none of that shit. Clearly you don't care about it. It doesn't matter to you. Those specific people are called intersex for a reason. Well, no, in the case of somebody with Spire syndrome, that would be like a female. Like they're because in terms of their sex observed at birth, right? That's going to be on the basis of their phenotypical sex, not their genotypical, right? Most people don't even get tested for their genotypical sex, right? They also usually have a dominant gender. What? Huh? Do you think that like intersex people are multiple genders at once? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Their dominant sex is female. Their dominant sex. Well, no, their entire, like the entire makeup of their phenotypical sex is female. Like that's. What are you talking about? Now, if we want to get into sex more broadly, like yeah, that is a bimodal distribution. We can get into that discussion. But it doesn't seem to be the case that you really prioritize genotypical sex at all, right? So it's not chromosomes; those aren't the sole determining factor, right? I asked you, is it the case that chromosomal makeup is the sole determining factor? You said yes. Then I came up with an example that caused you can see, actually, no, it's not the ultimate deciding factor. Here are these other variables that are the deciding factors. It's like, okay, so now you've changed your position from point A to point B, okay? So you moved your position down a little bit, but we could continue. Okay, so if it's the case that sex and gender are the same thing, okay, what gender are intersex people? Okay, let's say I have both sets of genitals, which happens in nature, right? That's a natural thing that happens, right? Yo, thank you, Volpaxi, for the 2, saying yesterday was my B-day. Well, happy late B-day, Volpaxi. One dominates the other and has extra parts? No, not necessarily. Like, if it's the case that somebody has, based on what we're able to measure, like roughly 50-50 in terms of male and female sex characteristics, right? Which is very difficult to measure, by the way. Let's say it's 50-50. How do you categorize them? Like, doesn't it seem a little bit arbitrary to categorize the way that we, like, which bathroom they're allowed to use? Arbitrary. Like, this doesn't seem fucking stupid? No, I'm still making the chromosome argument, but you conceded the chromosome argument. Unless you believe that in the case of somebody with Spire syndrome, that their chromosomes determine their sex and gender, because those are the same, and that therefore they are men, despite being assigned female at birth. Well, why are you going back to the the other dumb position that you conceded a minute ago? Why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? You already conceded that. We can move on from the position that you already conceded. I always knew law has it figured out, apparently. Yeah, notice how it's like lawmakers that are like, oh yeah, we have it all figured out, rather than like actual scientists. It's like lawmakers might agree with you, but not scientists. Right? So like if we like look at a graph, okay? I think graphs are cool. Do you guys like graphs? I like graphs. They're cool looking, alright? Intersex bimodal distribution graph. Okay. Alright. So if you look here. Okay. So here's a here, let's see here. Dude, these are Twitter posts. I don't want Twitter posts. I want like something where I can click on it and it'll have like a science article with a graph on it. What's this? Is this a real thing? Science, I don't know what science vet is. Is this trustworthy? Sex spectrum. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if this is reliable or not. Okay. Oh, okay. So it talks about morphological traits like height differences, I assume. Sure. Interesting. Well, that is interested in those. Averages. Male and female are just averages of anatomy and physiology, not distinct categories. This would mean we have 7.4 billion sexes. I don't think there'd be a number of them, right? Like a binary distribution would be a spectrum. You could say like sex is like a binary distribution. Binary distributions are spectrums, right? Where this is not a good graph, by the way, right? These two peaks are going to be a lot higher, and this here, right here, this middle part is going to be a lot lower, right? This is like a really bad demonstration. But like a binary distribution is necessarily going to be a spectrum, right? That's how a distribution works, right? It's going to exist across a spectrum, right? So there is necessarily like a sex spectrum with like two sort of general sides of it. Like you usually end up on one hump of the binary distribution, the other like somewhere around like that sort of top area. Sometimes you end up in the middle, right? It's still a spectrum, right? There's some points of the spectrum are more frequent than others. Right, it talks about the consistency of certain systems, right? So this is interesting. Rather than expanding the definition of male and female, as science fact claims we must do in order to apply accurate medical treatments, we need to better understand the processes which form the variation within males and variation within females. What? I'm confused. What I'm trying to get at. There's no ignore the fundamental definition of sex. I'd have to read the entire thing, but I don't know what they're trying to argue here. They're trying to make some sort of argument, and I don't care enough. I don't care enough to read this. I'm not gonna go through like some other argument that was had. I literally just want like a fucking like pure fucking science. Okay. Psychology Today. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is like a... Okay, this is sort of a bimodal pattern. That's more akin to what I'm talking about. Oh, that's interesting. We have like a C category. That's interesting because like... Yeah, I guess if you're drawing the... Interesting. Yeah, spectrum would be from point A to point B. Degrees of distinction. Some biological features often show virtually complete separation between sexes by convention across the animal kingdom. Individuals producing large sex cells, eggs or females, whereas sperms, males, generally speaking. Okay. There's like a... For many other features very widely. For each sex, individual dimensions commonly fit a classic bell curve. Right? Normal distribution with the average value at its peak. But male and female curves often partially overlap when peak bimodal distribution. Right? The overlap zone intermingles. The label intersex may be used partially. Unusual features of sex chromosomes are involved. However, this oversimplifies a lot of complex sets of conditions. All right, so if you want to look into the science of this, right, I'd recommend something like this. Now, there's plenty of aspects that go into defining sex, right? It's hard to define, like, okay, like what fucking percent of X character, like, well, like how much does your genitalia count? Like what percent is the chromosomes? Like, are chromosomes 100%? Because if that's 100% the determining factor and nothing else matters, then like somebody with XY female syndrome would have to be male by that definition, right? But Mark, you already disagreed with that, right? They would be female still, right? So okay, it's not 100%. But what are you using to determine these percentages, right? Like, it just seems like a very vibes-based argument, right? Now, actually gets into this argument. That's interesting. I didn't expect to cover this. Should gender replace sex? According to some chatter on the internet, it is perfectly okay. Gender simply absorbs or replaces sex. Obviously, that's fucking stupid. Chatter is wrong. Right? The point is that they should coexist as separate terms that mean different things. Right? Replacing would just mean that they mean the same thing. Merely mentioning sex is deemed likely offensive. I think that's fucking stupid as well, right? It's like, no, you can acknowledge that sex exists without misgendering trans people. That's a thing you can do. I wouldn't go around to random trans women saying you're biologically male. That's fucking stupid. Also, you're self-inducing an intersex condition to an extent by going on hormone replacement therapy if you do, right? Because I am ending up with like I would say that in terms of where I am on the distribution, right? Right, because this bimodal pattern is going to consist of characteristics that are classified as male or female, right? So let's say A is female because it's like closer to pink. B is male, okay? Right, I'd probably be like, I don't know, somewhere, because like I have boobs, right? So move down here a little bit, right? Somewhere closer to the center. Kind of hard to say where, right? So I would have started out here in this fucking middle. I wish I had like a long line thingy, okay? I've probably moved more like here, right? So I'm more on the male side, right? I'm probably more like here. I have fucking estrogen in my veins, okay? I have fucking titties. I have feminine fat redistribution, right? This consists of characteristics that are phenotypical, right? So let's see. Right, there's going to be features that vary widely. All right, so I'd say I'm like mostly male. Does that make sense? But even then, I don't think that that's particularly relevant, right? The point that, dude, I'm too tired for this. I just realized because I'm going off in so many tangents. Yeah, we love science. The studies you mentioned earlier, these people at XY are both X and XY? No, not necessarily. Right? I said specifically XY female syndrome. Okay. Right. So if you look here, I think you did your research wrong. Okay, because I've looked into this multiple times. Okay. Okay. Literally right here. XY karyotype, right? Typically associated with males. Okay, that means that they're genotypically male. Okay, right? Look right here, female phenotype. They're phenotypically female. Okay? That's what that means. Right? Right? Normal female reproductive organs, including a uterus, fallopian tubes, and vagina. Right? But they have X and Y chromosomes. Usual pattern for males. Right? What is it? Now, and this is from the National Cancer Institute, apparently. Right? Cancer.gov. If you look here, it says the usual pattern for males is XY. Right? So what does it mean if something is the usual pattern? Right? It doesn't necessitate. Right? XY does not necessitate male. Right? It doesn't necessitate maleness. You're just like wrong about that, right? You're just like scientifically inaccurate. Right? This is what I mean is you make bold claims when you're scientifically alert. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not saying that to like diss you. It's just like you shouldn't be confident in your positions if you have no clue what you're talking about. All right, keep in mind, I'm like doing this on 0 hours of sleep. It's been well over 24 hours since the last time I slept. But I'm still able to recite all this knowledge. Why are you hiding the screen? What do you mean? Because I will say I do use the same fucking okay, so it wouldn't be an issue this time. But sometimes I'll search for things in like the search bar that are like, I don't know, more personal to me, right? Like, I don't know, college related stuff. And I just don't want, I don't know, like, because this is the same fucking computer that I use for, you know, college shit. So if I'm like, you know, in the search bar, it's like, okay, like what if I fucking, I don't know. Because there have been times where I've clicked on a website. There was one time I had to private a stream because I clicked on a website, right, while I was streaming. And one of the first things that popped up was the fucking email. Like, have you ever been on a website where you've clicked on it? And like, the first thing, it'll, in the corner, it'll ask you to sign into an email. It'll be a list of your most recently signed emails, right? So for me, it was 3 of my emails, and one of them had my fucking full name in it. I had the fucking private stream. Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, that made me fucking paranoid about it. So that's why I do that. Right? Also, I'm pretty sure if you like scroll all the way down to the bottom. Okay, well actually it can't determine my location now. But usually if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it'll say your IP address, I think. So it's just like it like sometimes it feels like I'm on a minefield. So that's why. It's literally just like a personal safety thing. Yeah, it's very unnerving. Very unnerving. Anyways. You're all hacked, by the way. I got you. No, dude. The hacker named 4chan has got us all. All right. Sorry, where were we? Yes, like women's menstruation and men's testicles were cited examples of sex characteristics, while women are earning significantly less for work. Men doing less housework, exemplified gender characteristics. Okay. Right, but there's going to be crossover for each. When you see gender thus defined as uniquely human, it is. Some non-human primates have rudimentary gender roles, right? And that's sort of where it started, right? It's from gender roles that we had, right? When it was practical, right? When we were hunter-gatherers, it made sense to have gender roles, right? It's like, oh, you're pregnant. Maybe you shouldn't be the one fucking hunting. Maybe leave that to the man that doesn't have a fucking giant fucking bulbous. Like, okay. Yeah, probably for the better. If the person that doesn't have the giant bulbous with the thing you need to, you know, push out eventually to keep the human race going. Like, yeah, okay, that makes fucking sense, right? But now it doesn't fucking matter, right? You work in an office from 9 to 5 or wherever the fuck you work, right? So now none of that shit matters. All of it is just like an arbitrarily defined social fiction that doesn't really benefit anybody, quite frankly. Right? Now, the goal of somebody like me is to sort of deconstruct it, to maximize the freedom of it, right? We have to acknowledge that, like, it does still exist in society, right? Just because something is social fiction doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's not that you can ignore it and it goes away, right? Even if we don't have a term for it, it still exists because of how we categorize things as people, whether we realize it or not, right? Like, for instance, before, you know, like before we coined the term gender or gender roles, like that we were fulfilling gender roles, right? Like those are the social aspects that were rewarded at the time, right? Those weren't genetic, right? It wasn't genetic mutations that led to that, right? That was learned behavior. Right? It wasn't like a, right? And at that point, gender was exclusively based on sex, right? That was the only way that it was categorized. But there's no reason why that social category necessarily has to be the same thing as the biological category. There's no reason. Who builds the office building? Mostly men. Right? What do you think is the cause of that? Do you think that it's because the women have the not building things gene? Like what the fuck does that even mean? Oh, I have the gene that makes me not want to build things. Well, shit, I must be a real woman then, because I don't like to build things. I actually do want to be a stay-at-home wife one day, maybe, potentially. That would be kind of cool. Damn, you sound smart. Really? I haven't slept in well over 24 hours. No, just physical superiority. Women are builders, but it's super rare. Yeah, I guess if we're talking about, like, physical strength, like, I'd say that, like, yeah, like being male or having testosterone in your system really is like an advantage, right? Same way that if you pump your muscles with juice, you know, you're even stronger. But, you know, but even aside from, like, I don't know, like average physical strength, like it doesn't seem like, and even then it's like, okay, we wouldn't base that on sex. You'd just be like, well, how much can you bench press, right? Regardless of gender, right? You might find, like, okay, on average, more people that fit into this category are able to do it, right? But it's not the category that determines that, right? It's not the category itself, right? The claim that it is a fundamental error in reasoning. Would you say that a trans man is equally strong as a cis man? It fucking depends. It depends. How long is the trans guy been transitioning for, right? Like, if there's like a trans guy that's, I don't know, starts testosterone at the age of 13, and they're like 20 now, and they've been fucking hitting the gym, all right, and they're at a testosterone level 1,000 in their veins, okay, and they're fucking getting those gains. They're probably a lot stronger than some like cis guy that, like, I don't know, sits on their computer all day. So, like, depends on the person, right? Which one is stronger? I don't know. Like, who are they? I don't know. I judge them on a case-by-case basis. On what, since childhood? I'm saying if, right? It's an if-then statement, right? Like, what are the necessary conditions for having a certain amount of strength, right? Or what are the sufficient conditions? Or what are conditions that would increase the likelihood, right? Those would be the things that we're looking at, right? It doesn't seem like there's that. It seems like what we're looking at here specifically would be conditions that increase the likelihood, right? So I presented conditions that would either increase or decrease the likelihood, right? Now, on average, trans men are going to have conditions that decrease the likelihood, right? Because they went through a female puberty that more often than not and didn't go through a male puberty until later, right? But that's not on the basis of being a trans man. That's due to, not being allowed access to testosterone until they're older, right? That's not their fucking fault, right? It's not that it's impossible for that to happen or whatever, right? It doesn't defy the laws of physics by any means. It's just like it's like legally not allowed or whatever, or like well, it depends on the state where you live, but still. Average cis male versus bodybuilder trans man. Yeah, like a trans man who's a bodybuilder is going to be a lot stronger than the average cis male. Right? I would argue that a bodybuilder cis woman is probably stronger by a lot than the average cis man. Have you seen what female bodybuilders look like? Okay. All right. All I'm going to say is okay. Some of them look freakish. I wanna find one. All I'm gonna say, I don't know if this is. Oh, this might be a bodybuilder. Okay, this is one of the. Dude, some of them, are like the men in terms of like, oh my god, they are freakishly big. But like her, I would call her mommy. I'm sorry, I just would. Okay. This woman right here, mommy material. Did watches, she's like far right and transphobic or something. But then there's also ones that look like this. Like this is a woman. Like holy fucking shit. God damn, she is huge. Right? That this bitch right here is probably a lot stronger than the average dude. So is this one. So is this woman, right? So are all these women. These are all stronger by a lot. Oh my god, dude, that one on the these are just like muscular women. These aren't bodybuilders necessarily. Yo, one on the left is like, god damn. Actually, they're all kind of like the two on the left are like, yo. The lighting on the one on the right kind of did her dirty. Okay. This one is, she's just like really big. Like she's like, I'm on steroids type big. Like holy fuck. She on the trend. Bitch taking the trend. I'm not actually accusing her of that, by the way. Okay, anyways. Sorry, you get the point. Alright, these people would all fucking beat the shit out of you in a fight. Alright, that's my point. Look up videos of what? I don't think that like having gone through male puberty magically makes you stronger by that extent, right? Okay, I went through male puberty. All right, I'm 21. I started taking estrogen at 19. All right, so like, who do you think would win in a fight, Mark? Me. Or any of the women I showed you that like could easily get me to call them mommy, okay? Like assuming that like I wouldn't fold instantly for other obvious reasons. Who do you think would win in arm wrestling? Like me or them? Do you think maybe my XY chromosomes, through the power of my XY chromosomes, I would destroy them? You're a fat, lazy guy and you would fuck those girls up easily. You're delusional, my friend. How much you bench? Are you saying you've been manhandled? Well, I know I sure have. Oh, it's pretty fun. I've been manhandled by women. it's pretty epic. Pretty epic. Yeah, those buff women could easily KO me, okay? They could throw me around. Alright? I want to be fucking manhandled by them, okay? Choke slammed onto a bed. Look. I just saw a video, they were arm wrestling. Also, wait, hold on. Arm wrestling is more about technique, by the way, than anything else. Okay? I was weak as fuck. Okay, I was not weak as fuck. I was actually strong as fuck compared to my size. I was like the same size as I am now when I had testosterone in my system, but I was an athlete. I was a swimmer, so I was pretty fucking strong compared to what I looked like. My ex-girlfriend was stronger than me. She made fun of me for that shit. But I learned that, like, in arm wrestling, if you, like, do it at, like, a specific angle, in a specific way, and leverage your arm in a specific way, I, like, figured out how to, like, beat her. In arm wrestling specifically. Alright? But once she figured it out, she, like, started beating me. So it was, like... Yeah, I mean... You're the one who brought up arm wrestling before? I was bringing it up as an example, okay? just like a general reference point. Like, I'm saying on average, like, yeah, it's probably gonna be a case that, like, somebody that looks like fucking this woman is probably gonna destroy you in arm wrestling. I'm sorry, but, like, she has got way more muscle than you, my friend. And, yeah. Yo, thank you, No Hey, It's Just YouTube for the 5. Very much appreciate it. Very, very awesome. Okay, this looks photoshopped. Why is her face a different color from the rest of her body? I don't like that. I'd rather your face be the same color as your body. Yo, is she kind of built? The girl is huge and the regular guy dominates her. What are the statistical average? Because, like, why would... Because, like, how much... Okay. How many pounds? Because we want to look at averages. Can the average man bench press? Okay, we're talking about arm strength. Okay. 70% of his body weight. So roughly 140 pounds. Okay? For men that weigh 200 pounds. 250 pounds, 160 over 175. So 175 at most. How much can female bodybuilders bench press? Okay? So we wanna look at, like, actual, like, nah. Wait, no, you might actually be right about that. 104 pounds? Oh, for intermediate lifters. Elite lifters. World records exceeding... Okay, 700 pounds. Okay, this makes a little bit more... I was expecting the 700 pounds. Okay. To be fair, those are... world records, okay? Wait, this isn't... Okay. Wait, is that... Okay, the fucking AI slop. So do they, like, do max reps? Huh. $1.5 times your body weight. Huh. I don't know, it's more than I could lift. 1 rep. Female world record? Yeah, the male... Hold on. World record, bench press, male versus female. Okay, they're both going to be a lot more than anything you can lift. Okay. Yeah, 1.4K versus 700 pounds. Okay, the fucking, the woman that's benching 700 pounds would fucking destroy you in a fight, okay? That's my point. Dude, why is this the fucking argument though? Where did this even stem from? Double? Yeah, I didn't claim otherwise. I didn't say that men and women on average have almost exactly the same strength, right? But again, my point that I'm making is that having testosterone in your system makes a big fucking difference. Hold on. Men's bench press world record with steroids. Okay. I need to know. I want to know like what like the Wait. No. The 1.4K is this guy is on trend. I think. Oh, equipment like a bench shirt. Okay, never mind. I'm retarded. Okay, never mind. Oh. I want to know, dude, what the fuck? Represent incredible feats of strength. The question of steroid use is complex. It can't be answered. Dude, I want to know, okay? I want to know, like, it... I want to know, like, what some juiced up freak. I want to know, I want there to be, like, some juiced up freak that got, like, 2,000 pounds or something. Hold on. Men's world record bench press trend. No! Not train, tren. Dude, this isn't the answer I'm looking for. Okay. What if I say no steroids? Does it give me a different result? Dude. Wait, no steroids versus steroids. I need to know. I just want to know the difference for the sake of curiosity, and it's not giving me that information. Dude. The AI slop is like, dude, whether or not they're wearing the bench shirt. No, I want to know if they're on trend. Okay? Both male and female record holders are using juice. Dude, but this says that this guy isn't using juice. Oh, wait. Women's bench press world. Also, there's gonna be a lot less women that are willing to use juice. No steroids. I actually want to know, because like that's gonna be a lot lower, I think. Okay, 417 pounds. Dude, estrogen does you fucking dirty. Man should never hit a woman. Dude, I'm sorry. There are plenty of. So like, what if the woman is? What if the woman that you're about to hit is the one that can lift 457 pounds without juiced, without being juiced? Like you think you're stronger than her? Dude. Let alone the fucking juiced up woman. You're not beating the juiced up woman in a fight. Dude, this is literally the dumbest. This isn't even an argument. I'm fucking tired. We're schizo-badly. It's about fighting, not weightlifting. Dude, if she's strong enough to lift 457 pounds and bench press it, she's probably stronger than you. Okay, don't fucking pretend like you can bench press like a quarter of that, okay? You probably struggle to bench press like 120 pounds or something. Yeah, like she's gonna fucking throw me across the room. Okay, I am a failed man. What about it? I literally, dude, I can't even, I'm 130 to 135 pounds. I'm 5'6", okay? I can't even do 10 push-ups, okay? Like, you fucking think that I can, you think I would be able to beat this person in a fight? Okay, I was assigned male at birth, okay? Because you take estrogen. Yeah. But I went through male puberty. Shouldn't that and my XY chromosomes give me such a huge biological advantage? Bro, she can bench press you. Like, y'all saying you'd beat someone who benches 700 is diabolical. Yeah. Yeah, she'll just turn around and watch any regular person across the room. Like, I can't dude. I can't lift up. All I'm gonna say is I can't, like, I'm bad at, like, I can't pick up my girlfriend very well. But she can kind of throw me around. Okay? Alright, I get thrown around all the time. I kind of want to be thrown around right now. What the fuck? Okay. Chat. Okay, never mind. Stop taking estrogen, then try again. I mean, when I was 17, I had testosterone in my system, and I was an athlete. And the first person I dated was physically stronger than me, and she was a woman. Like, she was just like a cis woman. She was like physically stronger. So like, either that, like, we were about the same. I think she was slightly stronger. All you had to do is train, bro. I was an athlete. That's impossible. It's not. It's not impossible. Dog, I'm just fucking weak, okay? I'm sorry. Dude, people have been able to throw me around forever, okay? Dude. Alright? You know, Maz said one correct thing, which is that I did male fail, alright? I failed at being a man. Alright? You got that right. Damn right I did. I feel like I'm being gaslit by chat. It's impossible. Because you didn't even try. I fucking did. Bro, I was so far back in the closet. No, I was fucking trying. I was a competitive motherfucker. I was a competitive motherfucker. I did try. I did. I actually did. Because I was, okay, it would be one thing if, like, you could make that argument if we were, like, by ourselves and we were, like, arm wrestling or something. Dude, that shit was in front of other people. Alright, that shit was in front of my friends, bro. You think I wanted to lose to her in arm wrestling in front of my friends? You're legit young if you were 50? Okay, well, I'm 21, so... I was stronger when I was 17 than, like, right before I started estrogen at 19. Because, like, at 19, I was, like, not an athlete. So, like, my physical strength would have peaked when I was, like, 17-ish. Like, 17, maybe, like, early 18. So somewhere from 16 to 18, I think, I was the most athletic. And able to do the most shit and lift the most. But again, dude, I'm literally just like a 5'6" twink by default. Like, I can't fucking help that. Like, it's just like delusional to say no. Impossible. Like, how can you be biologically male and physically weaker than like a normal cis woman? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Nah, to be fair, that bitch was fucking strong as shit. I swear to God. No, because I would beat guys in arm wrestling that were like larger than me. Not if they were taller than me by a lot. If their arms were like significantly longer, I couldn't have any leverage over them. But if their arms weren't like too much longer than mine, like they'd be longer usually, but like not like ridiculously so, I'd still be able to like, yeah. They're joking, I'd bang a man, I don't give a fuck, I'd give it to Femyoz. Y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. Bro. They're wild. What the fuck? Dude, I wonder how many men I've confused about their sexuality. Do you think I've confused a lot of men? Do you think I'm engaging in sexual confusion? No, Mars wouldn't be gay. Well, I mean, if he wants to fuck me, that would have made. Oh, yeah, I guess if he's saying he'd fuck a man, then yeah. Guessing bisexual. He'd fuck me. He'd also fuck men. He'd fuck anybody. Yeah, Maz is straight for me, gay for Mark. Or sorry, Mark is. Wait, no, we have it backwards. No, not both of those would be true. They'd both be straight for me and gay for each other, okay? Fucking a guy isn't gay, getting fucked is gay. Okay, alright. Dude, I'm too tired to deal with this. Normally I can't get gaslit this fucking easily, dude. I was like so painfully obviously like a troll too, but it's like, dude, I'm so fucking tired, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. I fucking hate having insomnia. I really hope I can sleep soon. Oh, yawning is a good sign. Oh god. Dude, they're going against my whole chat. Oh my god. God damn. I will take all of you on, alright? I will use the power of my super strong, dominant XY chromosomes, alright? Destroy all of you. You did not just hear that yawn. Oh, it's not a cute yawn, okay? Tommy. Shut up. No, I don't know. I'm a ZP, okay? Give up when you had everything? What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. That's a strange one. I don't get that. I have so many kids that, bro, I'm never gonna experience childbirth and I don't wanna experience periods. You fucking kidding me? No woman wants to experience fucking period. Name a single woman that wants to experience period cramps. That's experienced period cramps before. Unless they're like worried about getting pregnant or something, right? Then it's like, oh shit, I haven't experienced my period in a while. Fuck. I hope I'm not pregnant. But let's say they're infertile, but they get period cramps. That they never want, like, let's say they're infertile no matter what, okay? Then yeah, they're never gonna want to experience period cramps, right? I know I sure as shit don't. You are all descendant of a man? Dude, we're all inbred. That's awesome. That's good. It's good stuff. Dude, this is so sketch stuff. Trans women still have menstrual cycles, though? In terms of like the weird like hormonal shit that happens, yes, but like we don't get cramps. I don't think. I've never gotten cramps before, and I've been on HRT for 2 years. Do some of y'all motherfuckers get cramps? I don't know. I definitely have mood cycles. But like I've always like been fucking like that. Spread the genes far and wide, a woman can never do that. I can't do it either. I'm a woman. And I'm on estrogen. So estrogen made me a woman. Wow. I was actually already a woman, but like estrogen made it a little more obvious. When I eat too much. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I get period cramps when I eat too much, and my tummy hurts. It's like the same thing, basically. Yes, y'all don't have to be in the closet in the big 25. Yeah, that's true. Dude. How did this go from, like, actually, there's this awesome conservative, Charlie Kirk. You should watch him. He makes great arguments. And that, like, derailed into a conversation about Spire syndrome. Because I was bringing up, like, the intersex part of the... Dude, Mark, we gotta have, like, an actual fucking discussion about that at some point. Preferably over Discord call when I'm not sleep deprived. Right? So it's not just, like, me, like, quickly going through, like, all of the arguments at once. And more along the lines of me asking you questions, hearing your responses, writing them down, and then coming to logical conclusions, then going back to certain arguments, starting from there, right? Usually I like to hear what a person's position is, and then I critique it, then I present my own position, allow them to critique it, right? Obviously, we each get a chance of defending our own positions and whatnot, right? That's usually the format I mean, that's literally what a debate is. Dude, why am I explaining what a fucking debate on a live stream looks like? Okay. To be fair, some of them are like so dog shit, so like I don't know, man. Dude, I'm so tired. I can't do this. You know, the thing is, dude, you would think that like, you know, insomnia sounds fun on the surface, dude. You're like, oh, you get to be awake for that long? And you're like, oh, I really fall asleep. It's like, yeah, but you're still fucking tired, dude. It's so annoying, and it's like, it doesn't even fucking matter if I take it's like, I take Adderall, I'm damned. If I don't take it, I'm damned slightly less, but I'm still damned. And here's the thing, is, I need to be careful because I feel like I'm going through cycles of oversleeping and being a fucking insomniac, and like, I don't know what's causing it, but I need to be really careful. I don't know if it's my eating habits, because I have been not eating very much, but to be fair, when I don't eat, it does make it really difficult to sleep, I think. But sometimes eating just sounds so gross and feels gross, and I don't know. I want to feed you and make you bigger. Well, when you say it like that, you make it sound weird. And bro is into some feederism shit. Okay. Blur into that, you know? I know, and I'm into a lot of degen freak shit. That ain't one of the things that I get, though. I don't get that. I will never get that. Nor do I want to get that. And I get a lot of things, okay? Big and round, yes. Okay. Yeah, it's, Go to sleep. All right. Bye everybody. I'm heading out. Have a great day. Yeah, you too, man. Dude, I'm so fucking... Dude, I should not be up. I'm gonna try sleeping. Also, my fucking bra is so uncomfortable. Dude, this bra was like pretty damn comfortable like a month ago. I swear to God. I've been on HRT for 2 years. This thing has been comfortable for so... Dude, this shit is way too tight. I've been wearing it for way too long, though. But even so, it's like, dude, this shit is way too tight now. Alright? Dude, ever since I switched to injections, I think my tits have been fucking growing a lot. What the fuck? Dude, they feel so compressed. Bro, it's like I'm wearing a fucking binder. Not a binder, I'm kidding. Alright, that's a bit extreme, but it's like... It's a bit uncomfy. I need a fucking bigger bra for my larger cup size. What the fuck? Dude, HRT doing its job. Take it off then? I will. Off stream. Okay, yeah, I'll go sleep. I'll go sleep. Okay, this is like... Yeah, this is bothering me. Alright, bye. Love you all. Mwah. See y'all tomorrow. Or later today, maybe. I don't know.